Welcome to the Wheel Route Fantasy Football Channel. I'm Kev Wheeler. We'll be drafting an FFPC 125 tournament, best ball tournament. Throwing a little background there. Oh no, we need to do this. Hopefully you heard that first part. I needed to change internal speaker. I got a draft here. It's going to begin in about 12 seconds, and I have been busy creating a thumbnail and the live stream and posting it all, but haven't been getting ready to draft at all. So, am I even actually in the sixth hole? Let me refresh that. Yes, I'm in the sixth hole, and I've been around this area. So I've had the 4, 5, and 6 pick in my 3 of these drafts. I've gotten Christian McCaffrey the other 2 times. So I'm likely going to switch it up. If you were watching last time, I took a particular, I said that I was debating between Christian McCaffrey and the player I have in mind. I mean, don't get me wrong, I hope a certain player falls to me, but no, he just goes. So you guys are looking at the dashboard or the draft board. Jamar Chase goes first. I feel like I need to pull up the other draft boards just to compare. I'll do that right after my pick. Jahmyr Gibbs going second. That depends on the drafter. I know there are a few people that consider Gibbs the 101 or at least the RB1. So, man. Yeah, I'm going to... This is a tough choice because Christian McCaffrey's there, of course, but I'm not going to put 100% of my stock in CMC. Like, I have faith that he's fairly healthy and likely to make it through the season, but I'm not going to put all of my eggs in that basket. I am going, before I think about it anymore, I'm just going to take Trey McBride. I wanted a Brock Bowers start, but I do think Trey McBride, if he can score touchdowns, he can outscore Bowers. Like, that's really gonna be the difference. Trey McBride is just like Bowers, the top receiver in that offense. That's not gonna change, even with Marvin Harrison there. And I expect Marvin Harrison to do better and be better, and I feel like Kyler has been working with him, but Trey McBride is, it got to the point last year where they were trying to force feed him, so I wouldn't be surprised if they practiced that in the preseason, just red zone McBride, and I guess I have no evidence of that, but it would seem just like logical coaching to me, right? Like, this guy gets 9-10 targets a game. Does he? Maybe not that much. I should look up his stats before I start rambling on about him. But I'm not ready with anything yet right now. So let me, I want to pull up old draft boards. I'm going to do that now. Live draft board or old draft boards, like I think they're both from the past week. Just give me a gauge because I don't subscribe to any of that purchase the ADP kind of stuff. I'm not going to promote unless he starts, paying for advertising. But I just don't think, if you know the ADP of other sites, you just go positionally and adjust. generally speaking, running backs go a little bit quicker here. Tight ends certainly do, tight end premium. You only need to start 2 wide receivers. So people will fill their flex with running back or tight end sometimes. Other people still use the wide receiver, the zero RB or hero RB method, but I think they all kind of work. Just gotta, I mean, I hate to say pick the right guys, but there's a degree of that. Let's just say that. Just looking at my options here, and it just definitely seems like wide receiver is probably going to be the way to go. Derrick Henry and Devon Achane go actually a bit earlier than they have in my last 2 drafts. And I didn't get a chance to pull up the other draft, but there we go. Those one. Just trying to get a gauge. All right, that's what I thought. I don't solely base the draft on the previous ones, but just trying to catch falling value and reconfirming priors is usually a good thing. It's different people in different drafts, but I kind of felt one way and then the board confirmed it, so I kind of like that. If it didn't, I probably would have looked closer at the other board and seen whether. All right, so I kind of thought Bucky Irvin was sliding a little bit, and I'd like to go running back, but there is a receiver there that, I heard some very successful players tout as Brian Thomas is potentially the wide receiver 1. I guess potentially, there might be a 3% chance, which is better than just about anybody to follow. There might be, wide receiver values fall. This is uncomfortable, but I'm going to go Brian Thomas. Just based on, I listened to, Abiy Agbitova. I generally don't call Evan Silva smart, but his analysis in this situation was good. There's a couple others that just are very high on Brian Thomas, and so I went with their gut. I need to differentiate a little bit here. I don't mind putting $125 down on Brian Thomas, which, whether it's a lot or a little to you, it's still 125 is still the cost of 5 Best Ball Mania drafts, right? So I'd like to draft Brian Thomas in Best Ball Mania 5 times. I'm cool with that since I don't have him already. So that's, I work in ratios and fractions when I draft. It's actually more supply and demand, but all right. So let me go over this draft board just because I haven't for audio listeners. It starts out Jamar Chase, Jahmyr Gibbs, Bijan Robinson, Brock Bowers, CeeDee Lamb. I hit Trey McBride. Then Christian McCaffrey goes. As I said, I have McCaffrey in my last 2 drafts, and I kind of wanted to switch it up. I didn't get any of the premier tight ends in those drafts, so I really wanted to get one. So after McCaffrey goes Saquon Barkley. That's a falling value too. Being, picking in the 8 hole in these drafts and even later is quite fun. Then we got Justin Jefferson, Ashton Genty, Malik Neighbors at the 11, Puka Nacua at the 12, followed by Nico Collins to start off the second round, and Derrick Henry, Devon Achane, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Drake London, Bucky Irvin. Then I took Brian Thomas, and George Kittle goes, Chase Brown, AJ Brown, Josh Jacobs. I mean, I don't think there's any way the running back I really want comes back to me, but you never know. Flip on the draft assistant. Really hard for me to do two things at once, which probably is really not great to be streaming. But actually, maybe, you know, maybe I'm actually, no, that's not it. What the heck? Why doesn't this have my... What do we got going on? Good. Yeah, Ladd McConkey and Jonathan Taylor go at the turn. Would have... Really, my original plan and hope was to get Jonathan Taylor or Bucky Irvin on the way back. I would even have taken Chase Brown. Did not expect Brian Thomas to go after Drake London. Amon-Ra St. Brown, I guess. Devon Achane and Derrick Henry had been falling that far. I would have been happy with them. I really wanted a running back there. I figured Taylor was a safety net, but definitely felt the need to jump on Brian Thomas since he had fallen that far. Just kind of taking a look at previous draft boards, get a feel. Wow. Get a feel for what I really want to get lined up for here. Question whether I want to. All right, there goes Amarian Hampton and Kyron Williams. Shoot. Ugh. You gotta be kidding me. I should have set up for the draft first and then done the thumbnail stuff. Damn it. I don't have a strong desire to go quarterback, but I think it might be the best move. I'll try Josh Allen. I don't feel comfortable with that. I just don't have. You're right. Come on. Oh, it's there already. All right. Yeah, felt a little crunched there. Probably should have been setting up for then my next pick. I'm gonna take a look here. Get my rankings pulled up. All right, those should be decent enough. Yeah, I would have rather gone running back there, but as I'm looking, there's one or two running backs that come back in the fourth or have come back in the fourth lately. I'm playing with fire there. The other running back that was the thought Sorry for the delay. Is Travion Henderson. So after I picked Brian Thomas, how far did I went to Jonathan Taylor at the turn, then Lamar Jackson, T. Higgins, Omarion Hampton, Kyron Williams, and then I took Josh Allen. Really thrilled about that. I kind of wanted to stay. I wanted to get back on my running back path. Just in previous drafts, I've been knocking off 2 running backs in the first and second round. And I didn't want to deviate from that too much. I just kind of wanted to get the premium tight end and then stack up on running backs. But passing up on one when I took Brian Thomas kind of handcuffed me into a situation. I thought Omarion or Kyron would come back to me. I considered Travion Henderson. I hope quarterbacks go early in this one, and I can scoop up some other value. I hope there's a wide receiver run right here, just so I can get at least one of the 2 running backs that I really want. Seeing Cook and Walker go in the third. Just going, I might just go the other direction then too. Just go completely uncomfortable and go 0 RB. I mean, I'm set up for it now. Cheat sheets set up right. All right. Good view there. Draft board there. After my Josh Allen pick goes Tyreek Hill, Kenneth Walker, James Cook, Travion Henderson, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin, Tatori McMillan. Tatori McMillan had been going this high in like ship tracer slappy drafts, as they say. But I didn't figure to see him go this early here, especially. Well, I guess that's about right. The running backs going here. Well, Breece Hall, I would have liked to come back to me. Tony Pollard, I would have liked, but he has been going a little bit later. Where is my draft room? Sorry. I put RJ Harvey at the top of my queue. Just want to make sure I'm not passing up on any super receiver value that I really can't deny. Was that Mike Evans that went right before me? Mike Evans probably would have been my pick had RJ Harvey been taken here. Definitely don't need tight end or quarterback. RJ Harvey stands out as the best choice at running back, and all the receivers. There's one receiver, but not one. Well, I would normally pick this receiver I like over RJ Harvey, but not with the way running backs are flying off the board. And like literally, I would take RJ Harvey over Kenneth Walker, Alvin Kamara, and Tony Pollard. Probably would have gotten Breece Hall. Actually, I would have thought maybe that about trying to push Breece Hall around the 4-5 turn. Not if Harvey had already been gone, but if they were both still there, I might have grabbed Harvey and tried to push Breece just because he had been falling. He does not in this draft. In my previous draft, he went at the 411. Or was that 2 drafts ago? No, that was my previous draft. And then, who am I looking at? Breece Hall? Breece Hall and RJ Harvey went. I took Breece Hall in the 4th. at the 409. RJ Harvey went the pick before that. After my RJ Harvey pick, go Joe Burrow and Jalen Hurts. That's what I like to see. Let's start. It's really the next tier QBs. When did they go off the board? And really, I don't benefit from Burrow and Hurts going in the 4th because they naturally would go in the 5th, if not. Burrow probably would have gone at the 4-5 turn, and Hurts went to the AJ Brown drafter. So the AJ Brown drafter might have been able to, but probably would have pushed it around the turn had Burrow been there, thinking that the team in the 1 hole would draft Burrow, but not the case. And I'm cruising here. I'm good. All right. So my hero RB is really RJ Harvey. I don't want to, give up all my secrets, but I'm likely going to go. This is the zone I like to get wide receiver. So I'm going to hope that the best, there goes one of my guys. And Devontae Adams gone. But, I mean, I feel like the next dozen picks should be wide receiver before any of the running backs. I could see a tight end going here, but we're going to get a string of wide receivers here for sure. No doubt. And that's fine. Actually, let me look. Oh, Sam Laporta. Not the tight end I would have taken, but you know what? ETR and Mike Leone, I think it was, started pumping up. Was it Mike Leone? I forget. I listen to so many people. I forget who's who a lot of the time. It could have been Sean Siegel, but I think it was Mike Leone, ETR guys, or could have been Gretsch. Just emphasizing how Laporta could have a really good season. And I think it was his last 6 or 8 games were, extremely good. I'll look it up in a second. I'm just trying to set my cue a little bit. Being a little towards the middle has thrown me off a little bit. Really, it's just I wasn't quite. There goes George Pickens. Would have really liked him. Okay. So I like this guy, even though he could. All right, I'm on the clock. So, just the next in line in the draft room at ADP, as far as wide receiver goes, Courtland Sutton, DK Metcalf, Jameson Williams, Devontae Smith, Calvin Ridley. I could really take any of them. I just think DJ Moore had a season of frustration. They set the new coach set the record straight from day one. I haven't heard a peep about DJ Moore in camp, which makes me think they're just going to unleash him starting week 1. We'll see. Luther Burden hasn't made many headwaves, so the slot job should be mostly DJ Moore. Let's see. He's now playing the Amon-Ra St. Brown role in the Bears offense. Hope for the best. In previous seasons, he's gone 3rd, 4th round, so I'm quite content with that. Hopefully, there's some of these receivers that come back around. Yeah, Rashee Rice news coming along, huh? Suspended the first 6 weeks, and people are acting like this is the best case scenario. I had expected 3 or 4 games. I expected it towards the beginning of the season. I never expected that it would happen during playoff weeks. I think if he had taken it to an arbitrator, particular arbitrator, in her previous case, major case, she was lenient in a much more harmful situation, I would say. But anyway, I expected fewer games for Rashee Rice. I never thought it would be in the playoffs. And quite honestly, like, just think a mid-season break might have been best for him. But I mean, just my opinion. He probably went at the right spot here. End of the fifth. I'd prefer him in the sixth, but at 5'11" is basically the sixth. So if you want to go in that direction, I totally get that. All right, so after my DJ Moore pick, Jameson Williams, that was the other guy I was really looking at. Extreme boom bust, I feel, and I just want my wide receiver to I feel like DJ Moore's points are going to count more weeks than Jameson Williams. We'll see. After Jameson Williams, Cortland Sutton, DeAndre Swift, DK Metcalf, Rashee Rice, Calvin Ridley, Devontae Smith, then 3 tight ends, TJ Hawkinson, Travis Kelce, Evan Ingram, Emeka Egbuka, and Ricky Purcell go. So, last round I went with DJ Moore over Jameson Williams. This time I'm going to go Travis Hunter. Ooh, no. Jalen Waddle. So I've made pretty large bets on Tyreek Hill, and I almost took Tyreek Hill where I took Josh Allen. That is probably the first time I passed on Tyreek Hill in the third round, in the mid-third. Just trying to think. Yeah. I'm thinking that it's the last time that stands in my head anyway, when, in my opinion, like, he's the best pick on the board. Tyreek Hill has the potential to be the wide receiver 1 still, right? In a bounce back year. Zay Flowers was the other one I was considering at my pick. After my Jalen Waddle pick goes Isaiah Pacheco and Zay Flowers, but back to the Tyreek Hill. So if I passed on Tyreek Hill, I've already made a bet against Tyreek Hill. So if Tyreek Hill fails, Jalen Waddle should have pretty good season. What's that? MP numbers, letters. I love this tournament. Was live draft at 3. Yeah, thank you. From Munich. Nice. I got an international audience somehow. Cool. Somebody last draft. I forget where they said they were from. It was somewhere in Europe, I believe. But cool. Yeah, I like this tournament a lot too. I wish they had a similar one at, say, a $25 price point. I know they got the $35 super flex, but I don't know. I do like this. I would play more if they had some at lower price points tournaments. I like higher price points when the payout is flatter, or there's a good amount of money going to, just first place in your league. And then, bonus if you get, I would say, like top 100, or it depends on the size of the tournament. But yeah, I enjoy this. I like the FFPC. The tight end premium adds a little twist, and I feel like there's and the two flex, it definitely adds some spice to it. I think it bumps running back, or the perception of running back's value up to the traditional FFPC drafter. Just looking at the board, looking what's available. Running backs, like maybe there's the pool is no, like Tony Pollard going as early as it did. I don't argue that. Like I would probably put Pollard after RJ Harvey. Kamara is one of those right on the same level as a Pollard. Like Kamara, you're kind of relying on him getting traded, right? Like, I mean, there's a decent enough chance at that. All right, so sorry, let me get back to this. Where was I? I left off at Zay Flowers. So David Montgomery goes at 6'10", then Jerry Jeudy, Mark Andrews to finish out the 6th round. I would have put Mark Andrews in front of even Laporta, I think, is where I have him ranked. But I might adjust that given the fact that Likely is looking a little bit better lately. Patrick Mahomes goes at 701. Okay, good for me. Then we see Aaron Jones go. I feel like that's a little bit of a slide, but no, I guess that's right. Travis Hunter is the other guy. I think I said it out loud. He was the one I was debating at my Jalen Waddle pick. Then Matthew Golden, Deebo Samuel. I hope Deebo Samuel is not what he's being hyped up to be right now. I hope he doesn't have a bounce back season. Let's just say that. I just heard funny noise outside. I hope it wasn't somebody at my door. That would suck. All right, it's looking like I'm going to go wide receiver once again. There's definitely a wide receiver and a tight end I like, but we're going McBride in the first. I don't think this particular draft I really benefited from that McBride in the first pick, but live and learn. Oh, good. All right. I was just about to click it before the end. Oh, damn. I thought Zach Charbonnet would make it back to me. I guess I should have looked at that a little closer. Oh. People are getting wise to Zach Charbonnet. Kenneth Walker is barely practiced. Actually, I need to look and see what he's done in the past week. I spend a lot of... I'm back to work. I'm a teacher, so we've had students all week. So there go my days. And then my nights, I've either been drafting or catching up on other things. Last night was just making sure all the bills were paid. Good times. And I've been keeping up with the news, but not like diving into specific players. I would have liked to go on over the news here with you, but just get caught up doing too many things. There goes, okay, so after my Stephon Diggs pick goes Zach Charbonnet, Bo Nix, David Njoku. Tyler Warren was the tight end I like. There goes Colston, then goes Colston Loveland at the 7-11. And we are at the 7-8 turn. The team in the 12 hole has 5 wide receivers and Jaden Daniels at quarterback with 0 tight end and 0 running back. So likely going to see tight end and running back go there. There goes Tyrone Tracy. And who is that? Nobody yet. Jalen Warren. Surprised they didn't get a tight end, actually. I guess best ball, you can go like 4 late tight ends in this format, but you're covering the tight end, but you're not really catching the upside of the premium, the extra half point per premium per reception. Yeah, in order to catch that premium, you got to get a heavily targeted tight end. So we're talking, Bowers and McBride. Kittle will probably be more targeted this year due to all the injuries at receiver. Although we have a healthy Christian McCaffrey back, so maybe McCaffrey takes the touches that would normally go to those receivers. But I guess you could make a case for Laporta, but he was mostly a touchdown guy. Mark Andrews might be capped a bit. I mean, he's still probably the primary target in the Ravens offense, but if everybody's healthy, he gets capped. Evan Engram is a good tight end premium target. I was surprised they didn't go Tucker Kraft, but Tucker Kraft, now that I think about it, doesn't get that many targets. So I have wide receiver in my queue, and I'd rather go running back if there's one here. Doesn't look good there. I don't want to get trapped on the clock again. Let me just look at the board. I have 4 wide receivers. Is tight end or 2. I don't really like the choices at running back, but I might just reach if I can find him in time. That far. I'll go Jacoby Myers and just not. I might be done with wide receiver for quite a while. And that might be all right. Oh, you know what? I'll get one more at least. I should have thought about stacking Josh Allen. I should have gone running back, but it's just like the one I like should make it back. Actually, let me look at that. Yeah, it should make it back. Sorry, just kind of glancing. And no, it's not Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. I think he's being way overhyped right now. That's probably all right. Just want to get a gauge on where my guy was going, and I should be safe. I'm gonna knock that receiver out of the queue. Keep a couple of these running backs in mind. But there's one in particular that I think is just being quite overlooked from the general population. All right, so oh, no, JCM's already gone. So I guess I didn't start going through after Jaylen Warren at the first pick of the 8th round. Goes Roman Duzay, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, Dak Prescott, Tucker Kraft, Michael Pittman. I take Jacoby Myers, then Caleb Johnson and Chris Olave go off. I guess I could have gotten Caleb Johnson there. It's after Jaylen Warren is going. He should get a decent amount of touches as the season goes on. But I really need to run off some running backs here after going Jacoby Myers. Actually, might squeeze in a tight end. Let me just look at the tight ends here. Couple I like. Couple we're taking. I mean, I took McBride in the first, so I could really wait for those super sleepers. I'll wait for them. I'll hit running back. Actually, let me take quarterback. Nah. There goes Keon Coleman. Actually, that was the Buffalo wide receiver I was kind of keeping my eye on. I'm surprised he is now going or went before The other Buffalo wide receiver. All right. So the running back I thought should go next, or the running back that I didn't draft when I took Jacoby Myers, is still on the board. I mean, if he comes back to me, I'm on him. Otherwise, I'm going to make what seemingly is a massive reach, but I think it's the right move. But I got 3 picks before I go. So after the Chris Olave pick goes J.K. Dobbins, Travis Etienne, Keon Coleman, Javonte Williams, and Dalton Kincaid. Dalton Kincaid is a tight end that I would have drafted him had it clicked that I was working with Josh Allen. I'm just a bowl full of mix-up today. Certainly doesn't hurt that I took a couple bong hits after I forgot I already got high. So gonna use that crutch when I can. Usually it calms me down, but I think I took one too many hits. But we're having a fun hero RB team with a cross my fingers hero in there. Yeah, Juwan Jennings. I took a lot of him. Well, it's funny. Like I end up taking players like at not a value. So I'm not high on Jordan Mason at all. But I thought about him last round, and he's likely to get the goal line touches in Minnesota. But Aaron Jones is the better running back to have. But Aaron Jones needed breathers from Cam Akers for extended periods of the last 6 games last year. Jordan Mason, as long as he stays healthy too. Jordan Mason has a history of getting injured as well. So maybe that's it. Maybe that's why he fell. Maybe he's already hurt. I should have the news up in the background, but I don't. Hey, if you're in the chat, let me know who you are, or just say hi, or ask a question, or comment. Ask me, WTF am I doing? I'm throwing this one away. Why am I not stacking? Because I fucked up and I didn't think about it. My bad. But I'm going to be able to, I should be able to recover nicely on not being able to get the running backs that I was hoping would kind of fall to me. All right, so I kind of left off at the Kincaid pick. Juwan Jennings went after Kincaid, followed by Kyler Murray, Cooper Kupp. I took Jordan Mason. Now we see a couple more quarterbacks starting to fall off the board with Brock Purdy and Baker Mayfield. Then my last chance at a real stack with Khalil Shakir goes, and Justin Fields is off the board. Early in the draft season, I was drafting Justin Fields a little bit higher, I think. No, man, I guess it was about the 9th round, but different format. I like Justin Fields a lot. I'm just getting a little bit nervous, with the reports of his inaccuracy. I just feel as though he is going to have his best year throwing because he is working with a college mate that, I guess they didn't spend too much time together, but there's the camaraderie, right? They're both Buckeyes. They're probably, both going to watch the game together on Saturday. And there's some sort of contact and communication there. So, they call it the Shire narrative if you play together in college, but there's some sort of camaraderie there, right? So I would hope that they would have worked together over the summer, and there's, Justin Fields ain't going to get benched. Who's there? Nada, unless they trade for Kirk Cousins or something. But why would they do that? That, if they're losing, they'll just play for what's his name? Cooper Manning's kid with Arch. What is it? What do they tank for Arch? I don't know what they're saying about it. And actually, there's one or two other quarterbacks that are NFL highly drafted potential in that class. So, all right. So I left off at Fields. We see Jake Ferguson and Dallas Goedert go. I probably should have taken a tight end at some point. Meh. I'll take some crapshoots later, right? It's really just foregoing tight end in the flex for the most part. I feel like I'm guaranteed to get the running back I have in my queue on my next pick. So I'm not even concerning myself with it, but I probably should be, because getting sniped in that kind of situation just sucks. Tight ends aren't really worth too much. Okay. I can backstack the quarterback in that situation. All right, so after the tight ends, we see, starting with the first pick of the 10th round, is Austin Eckler, Cam Scatteraboo, Jordan Addison. That is who I should have gotten instead of Jacoby Myers. If I was on the ball, I would have gotten Jordan Addison instead of Jacoby Myers. I would have been happy about that. Then we see Drake May, Jaden Blue, Ollie Gordon. How the heck? I know it's the Cleveland Browns, but Dylan Sampson's got to be the starting running back. I mean, right? Yeah, I'm happy about that. I'm cool in the gang now. Probably switch to quarterback. There's a couple quarterbacks I need to target just for stacks and stuff. All right. There's 2 quarterbacks I'll be taking, possibly, if they come back to me, probably ahead of the running back I have in the queue. There's some other wide receiver value here too. But I mean, if I had taken Addison instead of Jacoby Myers, I would have been fine with that. But Jacoby Myers just doesn't present enough upside. He's whining. Well, maybe he's not. Actually, from what I understand, Jacoby Myers isn't the one that asked for the trade. Other teams inquired about a trade, and I don't know if Jacoby said he would be okay with it, but the Raiders are like, that's not going to happen. He isn't going anywhere. That being said, I wouldn't be surprised if Jacoby Myers' role is actually going to be slightly reduced, not because they signed, God, I can't think of his name right now. Should I even look it up? I don't even know if I have him in my rankings, to tell you the truth. He's probably there somewhere. Amari Cooper. So the Amari Cooper signing could rub somebody the wrong way, but I don't think it really affects any targets that he was going to get. What I think would affect his targets is that they want to play Luke Musgrave in the inline tight end role. He is very good at that role. There goes. So after my Dylan Sampson pick, go Braylon Allen and Bashal Tootin. Tootin is the one that I would have liked to get there if he came back to me. Or if somebody had picked Dylan Sampson, I probably would have gotten Tootin there. Yeah, it's tough sledding here. I guess in this format in particular, I'm not really used to going hero RB. I'm used to going running back early, grabbing one around this zone, and then a couple, 2 or 3 late. There goes Kyle Pitts. He was a tight end I was kind of looking at. Could end up with a decent amount of targets this year. But really, after this, it's kind of just fill in the gaps. Other than 13th round, I'm going to focus on 13th, 14th round. I might start really diving into that tight end pool, the end of it. Got a couple quarterbacks I'm eyeing up. I'd like to get some running backs in the queue. Couple running backs. Look, people just kind of letting certain running backs slide. Yeah, I see 4 running backs I would like to get, but usually I feel like this is the quarterback heavy zone. I feel like the running backs are usually like maybe a round or 2 later. I could look at previous draft boards just to confirm that, but yeah, I guess there is a little gap, but it's usually not this running back heavy. So the 10th round is usually chock full of quarterbacks. And quarterbacks that haven't gone yet. Like there's 8 or 9 quarterbacks that usually are gone by now. Or at least they were gone. Or the 11th. I guess this could be like 10, 11. All right. There should be a slew of quarterbacks going off the board here, which makes me think there's 2 quarterbacks I like. I'm only going to get one of them. Maybe I'll get 2. I get to stack DJ Moore with Caleb Williams. If quarterbacks don't start rolling off the board here, I might find myself behind the 8 ball. I said, what did I say for tight end? I guess I said 13th, 14th round. Really, I have a couple other wide receivers I could stack later, right? Yeah, so I'm hopefully I get to get one of the running backs I have in my queue. My next pick. It's so funny though, like, yeah, there are 3 or 4 running backs here that then again, there's weird values all over the place. None at tight end. Not really anyway. Except for darts. But where did I leave off? Let's go. Oh, yeah, him too. After my Dylan Sampson pick went Braylon Allen, Bashal Tootin, then Najee Harris. That's a really good pick, I think, even in the 10th. It's a little bit higher than he's been going in the past 3 or 4 weeks. But I feel like that's about right for Najee. Jaden Blue and Ollie Gordon, I think, went too early. I actually think Cam Scatterboo's going too early. I guess it's about right. But I would have Najee Harris above even Austin Eckler there. That's a raise in Eckler's value since the Brian Robinson trade. But anyway, after Najee Harris goes Kyle Pitts, Jaden Reed, Nick Chubb. I think that's way too early for Nick Chubb. I don't think Nick Chubb has anything left. Then Joe Mixon. I don't know if I think Joe Mixon could be out 10 weeks to the full season. Then we see Josh Downs in the 11th round. That's a PPR value. Jordan Love goes. That is probably a stack, with Matthew Golden. Zach Ertz goes. That's when you know the tight ends are really depleted. I took Caleb Williams for a stack with DJ Moore. Then Tank Bigsby goes. Jaden Higgins goes in the 11th. Chris Godwin goes. I was going to say that was a great value on Godwin, but I guess he is likely to be out 5 weeks. Still, what's the difference between Godwin and Rashee Rice, really, when they come back? I guess Godwin's coming off that injury, but whatever. Then we see J.J. McCarthy, Justin Herbert, Rashid Shaheed, C.J. Stroud, and the other quarterback I was debating picking, Trevor Lawrence, go. Then Keenan Allen and Luther Burden. C.J. Stroud was the first pick of the 12th round before Lawrence, and then Allen and Burden. I like Allen and Burden in the 12th round. This is why I kind of like going running back heavy to start and not necessarily feeling the need to get caught up on them. All right, there goes Tua. Trey Benson goes before him. Trey Benson was one of those running backs I was kind of eyeing up. I'm going to get another running back in Tajay Spears. Yeah, Tajay, I believe, was he put on the PUP? No, or IR. He's not going to play the first 4 weeks at least, but I'm fine with that. It's a high ankle sprain. It's a real high ankle sprain. This is what happens in real high ankle sprains. He'll have time to get it healthy, get back, and when everybody else is starting to feel the bumps and bruises, Tajay Spears should be able to come back and power his way through the rest of the season. That would be my hope. Of course, I have heavy reliance on rookies RJ Harvey and Dylan Sampson to start off the season strong, and that Jordan Mason gets plenty of goal line carries straight off the bat. So I don't feel good about my running back room at all. I feel stupendous about my quarterbacks. I generally like to get 3, and I like to stack them. So I got one other quarterback that I could stack with my present receiver, but not so sure I'm gonna pay for him in the 13th round. Running backs, there's still a few out there that I think would be a good value in the 13th. Tight ends are all kind of meh, even Steven kind of stuff. After my Tajay Spears pick, Jared Goff, Darnell Mooney, and Michael Penix go off the board. Sorry, didn't mean to make that noise. I just saw a player that I'm like, ooh, that looks like a value. And I don't want to say his name. Actually, if you're in the chat, just let me know if you're in this draft. If you're not if there's nobody in this draft, I'll start talking more I'll start saying player names. But yeah, if you're in this draft, like, that's just plain dirty. No, I mean, I'm glad you're watching, but I'm gonna have to bite my tongue. So I hope you respect that. All right, after Michael Penix goes Marvin Mims. It looks like an auto draft, but I don't know, the way they're talking out of Denver, like even Cortland Sutton said, oh, Marvin Mims is the wide receiver too. Well, Marvin Mims is a starting wide receiver, so don't believe all good news, but there really isn't much bad coming out about Marvin Mims, and he's a spectacular talent that was vastly underused last year. Not necessarily a traditional wide receiver, but should fit very well in a Peyton offense. It was Peyton's hand-chosen pick, I think. It was surprising last year's lack of usage. Peyton's a wild one. He's a wild card. Can never really be sure what he's going to do. All right, so I have one running back, one quarterback, one tight end in my queue, and they'll probably all be taken. There goes. Oh, no, he already went. Ramondre Stevenson goes. He was actually in my queue for a while, but yeah, pulling the trigger on him is not easy just because. And here's the thing, Ramondre will still likely get goal line touches. And if the rookie, what's his name? Travion Henderson doesn't kind of step it up, and he is apparently. He looks good in camp. But I don't know. If Travion Henderson thrived in split backfields, didn't he, in college? He's the pass catching back, which are the majority of the points, and he'll probably do the 2-minute drill. But if he gets hurt or doesn't quite pay off his expectation, Ramondre's a solid running back. He's a Tyler Algier level, right? Which is Tyler Algier should probably be going soon too. But I don't really need contingent value. Even though that's all that's really left out there. So let me see, Marvin Mims. After Ramondre Stevenson went Rashad Bateman. It's a great receiver to get in the 13th round. Wow. Then Bryce Young, Jonnu Smith, Hunter Henry, and I am on deck. There's some of the guy right before me on the clock. Probably going to go wide receiver here. So I'm torn between, I think I'll pass on this particular running back. There's a tight end here that I'll have him in all of my drafts. Let me just hold on one second. All right, I got him in the 14th in that one and the 14th in the next one. So maybe I can pass on him here. Maybe just get a running back here. And the only reason why I would do it is because it's kind of a correlated pick with Josh Allen. I could go quarterback too. And I don't think this quarterback will fall. I just think structurally I need a running back now. So I snagged Ray Davis. I think there's contingent upside plus his own value possible. James Cook could could see 70-80% of the touches given his new contract, but I don't know if Buffalo wants to overuse the commodity they just paid a lot of money for. There goes Isaiah Likely. I had gotten him in the 14th round from the 4 and the 5 hole in the last 2 drafts. So, and having 100% of somebody when you reach is not great. So if he fell, great. He didn't. Oh well. I need to find some other tight end value here quick. Although there is a quarterback still out there. Actually, there's 2 quarterbacks that I would be happy to get with my next pick. So I'll cue them up just in case. Oh, sorry. Make funny noises sometimes. Just reacting to what I see in my cue without saying it out loud. If the quarterbacks go, I think I'm going to do a bit of reaching on a tight end that I'll get called names for, but whatever. I kind of want a piece of this guy. All right, there goes Chigakonkwo. So after my Ray Davis pick went Sam Darnold, then Isaiah Likely, who I was hoping would make it back to me. Quinshon Judkins. Man, I guess 13th round, Quinshon Judkins, absolutely just fine. But he hasn't practiced at all. He's not even signed with the team yet. I don't know if he's even looked at a playbook yet. Like, I think it's week 4. I think we have, 3 or 4 weeks of Dylan Sampson starting before we even consider Quinshon Judkins taking over the role. Then we see Brenton Strange go, Tyler Algier, Chigakonkwo, Jerome Ford. Jerome Ford is in for a good amount of touches too. I just think, they drafted 2 rookies while they had Jerome Ford, so they're hoping he's the backup plan. Then Geno Smith goes after that. That was the quarterback I had in my queue for a little while. Probably should have taken Geno, but the stack is with Jacoby Myers, so meh. And there is one other quarterback that caught my eye that I think I can backstack just fine. So if he's there, I'm going to go with the quarterback. There's a couple running backs that I do like in this range. Wow, Isaac Tesla. I feel as though that is early for him. So Cam Ward is still out there. And I think he's really the last breakout potential quarterback, or the last quarterback I really want to roster. In a 20-round draft, I really always like going 3 quarterback, even with Josh Allen. It just presents a good amount of upside in tournament formats, in best ball tournament formats. Josh Allen won't, Cam Ward will probably come up with a couple of usable weeks. They could be at the end of the season when it really counts and really matters. And I don't know. It just provides a safety net and a ceiling. And none of the other quarterbacks that are left present me with any sort of ceiling, in my opinion. So I have high hopes for Cam Ward. I have a lot invested in Cam Ward, so I hope he thrives this year. All right, so I think the last pick I talked about really, I guess I mentioned Tesla, but after Geno Smith at the second pick of the 14th round, we see Hollywood Brown, Chris Rodriguez, Isaac Tesla, Theo Johnson, Cam Ward, Cade Otton. Cade Otton is a tight end I had been eyeing up. Didn't quite have him in the queue, but what did I get him last draft? I took him in the 12th round last draft. Wow, that's reaching. Whoops. But so he went in the 15th round of the other one I did. So I had reached on Cade Otton before. Maybe I'm glad I didn't. I probably would have taken him in the Ray Davis spot. Just the Cade Otton bet is the fact that Godwin's out. Igbuka is a rookie, so he might still start out slow, even though he could be heavily targeted. Mike Evans is old. Baker Mayfield has Kate Otton's had some blow up weeks and heavily targeted weeks with Baker Mayfield before. So, any volatility in that offense, Kate Otton kind of provides the stability. So having him as a tight end too is very cozy. After Kate Otton goes, Christian Kirk. See, and this is what happens when I draft like a lot of early wide receiver. I guess it's not a lot of early wide receiver, but just I felt the need to go running back and get caught up there. And I still feel behind. So I need to shift. And even with the Cam Ward pick, like my thought process is switched. I would have loved to stack Cam Ward with Chigakonkwo, but he's already gone. After Christian Kirk goes Matthew Stafford, Brian Robinson, Daniel Jones, Mason Taylor, Josh Palmer, Kyle Monangai. And I know I should go wide receiver here, but my stackable piece should make it back to me. And, well, I'm not going to say which position I'm going to go or where I'm going to go exactly because I want these next two picks off the board just in case somebody. Keaton Mitchell, man, I love that guy. He's really, 15th round, I guess, isn't really shooting up the board by any stretch of the imagination. All right, so Keaton Mitchell and Aaron Rodgers were the picks before me. I am going to reach into tight end for a tight end that is super slappy ship chaser. Give me some Harold Fannin, dart throw. He should be starting as the slot wide receiver for Cleveland. I could be wrong about that, but so would other people. I guess Jerry Jeudy is kind of the starting slot, and Tillman's on the outside. Judy's more of the Z receiver. I think we're going to see, maybe not early, but, by week 4, 5, 6, Harold Fannin's going to be used more and more. He's duck-footed, but he good. After my Fannin pick goes Deontay Thornton. See, it would have been nice to be able to somehow get Geno Smith and stack with Deontay Thornton, but I don't know. The Fannin picks making me feel good. I just like upside picks. I wasn't feeling that way. Well, I didn't feel that way with Ray Davis, but I kind of wanted some sort of correlation with my quarterback. And other than complete way late dart throws that I don't even think I'm going to take at this point, he's the only one that I could grab. So it's kind of open season here. There's definitely a running back that I value highly, but I think I might. Oh, wow. Brandon Ayuk going in the 15th round. How did I see that? Like, be a glitch in the matrix. I really should have seen that. Whoopsie. I got blind with other things. Damn. Ayuk's, like, imagine if let's say he's out 4 weeks. We were drafting him in the 2nd and 3rd round last year. Like, the upside, like, what's the difference between Ayuk and Rashee Rice? I should have thought about that when, that team just got an immense value. Yeah. I just didn't do it here, folks. Hopefully you watched my previous 2 drafts and how they went, because I was pretty confident about them. Feel like I kind of came in flustered and never really caught my wind. But let's see if we can tie her up in a bow. All right, so after my Harold Fannin, Deontay Thornton, Brandon Ayuk, Woody Marks, it was in my queue, would have liked him. Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart does have upside. I could have waited for Jackson Dart. And I probably would have had I not missed on the Cade Otton thing. Rashad White goes. Rico Dowdle. Will Shipley is another one I had in my queue. DJ Giddens, really good pick there. So, yeah, it looks like wide receiver is going to be my target around this area. Some pretty good ones. There's some pretty good ones out there that I should pick. But I want to stack. All right, so I need to really kind of keep. There's some really good PPR receivers here. I'm kind of torn here. I'm not going to get my stack guy right now. I will take him on the way back just because there's 3 wide receivers here at least. Yeah, that should not be around, what is this, the 16th round? And really, they're all kind of the same in this format. None of them really present stackable options. I'm just going to get Romeo Dubs. There's 2 others here that really are tempting, but I want my stack receiver. I feel like I'm only going to get 7 receivers. Look at some tight ends here. So yeah, before my pick, I think I left off at DJ Giddens at the second pick of the 16th round. Then Russell Wilson goes. That guy stacked Jackson Dart and Russell Wilson. I don't think that was necessary with 2 other quarterbacks, JJ McCarthy and Justin Fields. You could have just waited. I guess with Justin Fields, you kind of want security, but I just don't like going. I don't ever go 4 quarterbacks. I almost always go 3, but never go 4. So after Russell Wilson with Cedric Tillman, Dameon Pierce, another running back I should have had higher in my rankings that I need to adjust. Dameon Pierce should probably be going, I'm going to say before Nick Chubb. I think he will get more touches as we get through the season. Elijah Arroyo goes after Dameon Pierce. And then I took Romeo Dubs at the 7th pick of the 16th round. Yeah. After I took Romeo Dubs, Demario Douglas, and Wan'Dale Robinson, literally the other 2 wide receivers I had in my queue that I was debating between. They're both probably better PPR, but Romeo Dubs should be. He won't be heavily targeted as often, but when the games where he does get heavily targeted, they are peak weeks. So he almost always will be, when he peaks, he'll be entering your lineup. Demario Douglas and Wan'Dale Robinson aren't touchdown scorers, so them entering the lineup is like, at least it's not a 0. I mean, they're good in PPR, but you got to score touchdowns to get that upside and be a real good best ball play. So after Wan'Dale goes Kendre Miller. Kendre Miller appears to be the clear RB2 in New Orleans. But my question is, and he could end up starting the second half of the season, but I have two questions. One, is Kendry Miller actually any good? He's been he's been touted by me and others as a great late round pick, late round sleeper, but was hated by the coach. They got a new coach last year. He played a couple games. He didn't do much of anything, and the Saints are going to suck, especially if he's the starter. So I guess I should hope for the best for him, but I don't even think I have him in dynasty leagues anymore. So this will be the year he pops off, just because I have almost none of him. After Kendrick Miller goes Adam Thielen. I think that's a great pick for like the first 3 to 5 games, but don't see Thielen doing much when it comes late in the season. Kyle Williams, big play guy. I would stack him with Drake May, but probably not interested in otherwise. All right. Jatavian Sanders was one I was hoping would come back to me, but I'm just going to stack my Cam Ward now with Alec Iomanor, or Iomanor, however you say it. After Jatavian Sanders went Isaac Orendo, Jalen Coker, Roshan Johnson, Kareem Hunt. So I decided, with Coker going, and kind of there was a cliff at wide receiver after that pick, might as well get my stack now, secure it. Iomanor's been getting some hype lately, so I'm not quite sure. Like, I'm happy to get him in the 17th. Not going to risk passing up on him for who knows. Like, I'm not even quite sure who I would have taken with the next pick. Now I see. Yes, I know who I will take if they come back to me. Just going to put a couple running backs in the queue. What do I have? I have 5 running backs. Definitely get one more running back. I have 7 wide receivers, which means I could go 2 more running back. I'm definitely going to get another tight end, though, as well. And there's a few tight ends that I still like in this range. Oh, I feel like there was a sleeper. Maybe it was Fannin. Just kind of going to look at my draft list. Oh, yeah, there was one. There's 2 I might take as a 4th tight end in the last round. Oh, one in particular. I'm going to target the one, although I really would like the other. Maybe I'll just grab 2 of them in the last. Well, Taj Brooks goes. I would have really liked him as the next running back. Still got a couple there that I'm interested in. So yeah, 2 running backs I'm interested in, 2 tight ends. We'll see what falls. Both the tight ends should actually. There's a few tight ends that I would not mind taking. One I could take. Really, there goes Brashard Smith. So the guy in the 11 hole gets both the running backs that I really wanted. So let me just, after my Iron Man pick goes Pat Freiermuth, Pat Bryant, Mike Gesicki, Trey Harris, Taj Brooks, Dalton Schultz, Sean Tucker, Brashard Smith, Torrey Horton, Andre Yoshivas. I think I have 0% I might have grabbed my first share just to stack with Burrow because I had no other Yoshivas shares. Yeah, so we're waiting on 2 picks. Hopefully both my guys don't come out of the queue. Let me just look, see if there's another running back. There's running backs out there that I like, but I just feel if this particular tight end is there, I need to go him first. Juwan Johnson should have a pretty good year. New Orleans did just sign a receiver too, though, didn't they? I can't really think. Who did New Orleans just get at receiver? It made me think Brandon Cooks, bye-bye. Oh, they just traded for Devon Vele, which might cut into Juwan Johnson. But other than that, you know, Spencer Rattler and a rookie quarterback probably going to check down to a tight end or Alvin Kamara quite often. Kamara is probably going to get, he'll probably enjoy it for 5 or 6 weeks, but when they're, 1-5, 1-6, he's going to be asking to get out of town. I don't know. I had high hopes for Juwan for a couple of years now. Taysom Hill always kind of cut in on that. There is also Foster Moreau is going to be out for a few weeks. So really, besides the wide receivers that are there, cutting in on him and Alvin Kamara, I still think Juwan Johnson has some potential to put up some pretty good weeks. After Juwan Johnson goes Amari Cooper. Just another way to stack Geno Smith. They didn't do that there, but just need to keep that in mind as well. Jarquez Hunter goes, then Darren Waller, Quentin Johnson, Joe Flacco. Taking a look, I'm surprised there are a few running backs that haven't gone off the board yet. I guess everybody got theirs early and are probably just like focused on other positions. Really, I'm not strongly stacked with Buffalo, but I'm not going to reach for any of those receivers, I don't think. I think I'll just stick with running back and tight end to finish. I think I'm going to get running back here, but I'm hoping the hype hasn't pushed my guy up to the radar for certain people, for at least the next few people. Kenneth Gainwell, I see that. Yeah. I mean, I've been on him for years and with disappointment, but he's one that could do something in Pittsburgh if the rookie doesn't pan out. And Jaylen Warren really hasn't. He's looked okay, and he's not a bad pick where he goes in drafts, but he's certainly nothing special, right? Like, he hasn't stepped up and done anything. So maybe Gainwell gains some headway. They were talking good about his receiving capability early, and that really does cut in on Jaylen Warren. If they start Jaylen Warren first and second downs, you might see Gainwell come in to get some pass catching duties. After Gainwell goes, actually, did I say after Joe Flacco, just Troy Franklin goes to start the 19th, then Adonai Mitchell, really like that pick this late. Then Kenneth Gainwell that we were just talking about. Then Devin Neal, which is the counter to Kendre Miller. Then we see Justice Hill. These are some of the running backs I was talking about, although not the top one I would think would go. But I'm going to get kind of a guy that I feel like has been sleeping. And I have to give Ben Gretsch credit for this one. I had drafted Trevor Etienne quite a bit before the NFL draft. I just thought kind of the team seemed high on him. He had the pedigree. And I think he did fairly well at one of the bowl games, or showed up a little bit at one of the bowl games. But he was drafted, Trevor Etienne was drafted right around the same area, I think, as Scattaboo, or just a couple picks after Scattaboo and was it Tootin? Maybe I have that a little backwards. Um, just looking at previous picks, I should look at the NFL draft, but he was drafted in an area where he should be going at least 5 rounds higher. Like, it doesn't quite make any sense. I guess people are high, or not even high, on Rico Dowdle. They're certainly high on Chuba Hubbard, where I don't think they should be, especially with Rico Dowdle there. I think Dowdle caps a lot of Chuba's upside, but I think as the season goes along, you could see Trevor Etienne really cut in on kind of both of them. Or if Dowdle cuts in on Chuba's carries, then you can see Etienne cut in on Dowdle's pass catching. I think Dowdle is capable at both of those things. Dowdle is probably maybe second best at both of those things by a slim margin. That's what I would say. So Dowdle's definitely the RB2, but I think you could see Trevor Etienne sneak in some touches. And honestly, if Gretsch, I mean, he doesn't stop talking about Trevor Etienne in the last rounds, and nobody seems to be listening to him except me. Gretsch is good. I don't particularly care for his style when he's behind the mic, I would say. I guess I shouldn't be critical, but because I'm sure I'm not very good either. I can't listen to myself, but I feel like that's natural. And I'm rambling on here and haven't even queued up the tight ends that I like. I probably shouldn't be grabbing a fourth tight end, but you'll see. I'll tell you who they both are when I make my pick. I really want to go with one. I already mentioned him earlier, actually, because I think the one is going to get a lot more playing time than people think, which could just be playing time and not targets. But on the field, I want guys that are on the field. Oh, Cole Kmet is another one too. I feel like he's being way undervalued. Sure, they got the rookie, where'd he go? Colson Loveland. And Colson Loveland's should have a great year. He should be I think Colson Loveland's definitely more of the receiver. I always thought Cole Kmet was more of a receiving tight end, but apparently he's also very good in line. So I think Cole Kmet and the tight end I'm going to pass up, Michael Mayer, both are going to see like a ton of snaps. The number that's in my head right now is like 80%, but that could be off too. Even if it's 60%, they're going to be on the field. So they're kind of Band-Aid bets this late that I think are good picks. But here I'm going to stack Cam Ward again with Gunnar Helm. I think if Gunnar Helm did he break his ankle or severely sprain his ankle at the combine, he would be going much higher. I think people would be really talking about Gunnar Helm taking or capping Chigakonkwo's upside. I could be wrong. It could be a typical rookie tight end that takes 3 years to develop. But I think we missed out on seeing the Gunnar Helm athleticism that might have propelled him up draft boards and even gotten him drafted higher in the NFL. So I think I stopped telling you the picks after my Trevor Etienne pick. I'm just going to go through the last few picks after I take a sip of water because my mouth is cotton. All right. If any water company wants to sponsor me, let me know. So what do we have going on here? After my Trevor Etienne pick, we see Jalen Lane go, then Anthony Richardson. I think that's a tremendous best ball pick in the 19th round. tremendous upside. Actually, Anthony Richardson should probably get 6-8 starts, maybe. I slept on him in this tournament. I have plenty of them in underdog tournament best balls. So after Jalen Lane, Anthony Richardson, Spencer Rattler, I know he's starting week 1, but I would never draft him in this format or any format. I never even get Spencer Rattler in 30-round formats, so that ought to tell you something. After Rattler goes Jalen Royals. I don't think Jalen Royals is going to have much value unless he hits the gates running. I think there was more hope for him when everybody thought, or a lot of people thought, Rashee Rice was going to be suspended more toward the latter half of the season. Maybe get Jalen Royal on a run late in the season, give him more opportunity. But I don't know. You could very well see, is Juju Smith-Schuster still on the roster? Him, Juju, or some other veteran starting out the season in the Rashee Rice role. Well, after Jalen Royal goes Terrence Ferguson. I like that pick. He should come on as the Rams starting tight end in the second half of the season. Then we see Keandre Lambert-Smith, nice dart. Blake Corum's the running back I was talking about. I was surprised hadn't gone, and even I passed him up for Trevor Etienne. You know what? Corum probably would have been a much smarter pick there, but I'm rolling the dice. After Corum, De'Ami Brown, Cole Kmet I talked about. Kevontae Turpin, excellent last round pick. Especially, I think that guy stacked him with Dak. Yeah, that's a pretty good team. That's a pretty nice team. He caught, well, not DeAndre Swift, but he caught the nice James Cook, Breece Hall. If I had kind of gotten a combo like that, I think, you know, instead of Josh Allen, Travion Henderson was the next in line. I guess I could have considered James Cook. I really thought, well, RJ Harvey did come back to me. Whatever. It is what it is. Actually, the pick that kind of twisted me in a knot was that Jacoby Myers pick. Even if it was a guy with more upside like Jordan Addison, I would have preferred that. I will go through. Actually, I didn't finish all the picks. So after Kevontae Turpin, Demarcus Robinson, if he wasn't suspended, I think it might only be 1 week. I forget how long Demarcus Robinson's suspension is, but like, I would like to have him out there week 1 just to catch some touchdowns while, you know, well, Juwan Johnson hasn't practiced in a while. Brandon Ayuk probably won't be back until about week 6. So Demarcus Robinson could get some run, but I would have liked it better if he could have hit the ground running week 1. After that, we see Tanner Hudson go. That's a curious pick. It was an auto draft, so I don't know what happened there. But I took Gunnar Helm to stack with Cam Ward. I talked about that. Then Jake Browning goes. Is that the guy has Joe Burrow? But it's a fourth quarterback. I wouldn't have done that. Like, just skip Aaron Rodgers. That's really all I would say to that. Christian Watson goes. I understand the dart throw. I just don't have any faith that he's really going to stay healthy. It's too bad, too. He seems like a pretty good talent. Just his body's not built for the NFL. I think that's really what it comes down to. Isaiah Bond, really good last round pick. Probably should have been drafted. Probably would have been had charges been dropped earlier. Then we see Alec Pierce go. That's a great dart throw if Anthony Richardson actually plays. In fact, the guy that drafted Anthony Richardson should have gotten Alec Pierce. They kind of go hand in hand. And then Jalen Milroe with the last pick of the draft. I do like that, although I probably would have passed on Daniel Jones had I planned on going that route. All right. So my team from the 6th hole, I started with Trey McBride. Would have gone Christian McCaffrey had I not already gotten him in the past 2 drafts. Then Brian Thomas. I have very little of him, just based on just other players I have ranked higher. It's not like poo-poo or down on Brian Thomas. But and there are quite a few people, smart people, that are high on him. So glad to have him. Then I got Josh Allen. I just kind of felt like there was no real value at positions I felt needy. Normally I get Tyreek Hill there, but didn't want to kind of take the gamble on him. I hedged that, not even hedged that gamble. I doubled down on that value later in the 6th round with Jalen Waddle, but I get to that in a minute. But I grabbed Josh Allen. Disappointed I didn't stack him with somebody, but c'est la vie. In the 4th, I grabbed RJ Harvey. Running backs really started to fly off the board. Actually, with the way running backs were going, I felt lucky to get RJ Harvey. Then I come back in the 5th with DJ Moore, Jalen Waddle in the 6th, Stephon Diggs in the 7th, and then kind of didn't know which direction to go in. Just took this, what had we thought, what we would normally think as a security blanket, Jacoby Myers, but that wasn't the smart pick. If I was going to go receiver, Jordan Addison was the pick. If I went running back, I was going to go Jordan Mason. So, like, I think it was very similar to the last draft I did. I kind of, so last draft it was quarterback. I missed, I think I auto-drafted a wide receiver. And I auto-drafted Josh Downs. And missed on Kyler Murray, but I was able to get Kyler Murray on the way back. So I was able to get Jordan Mason on the way back here. But it probably would have opened me up to better things. Like if I had gone Jordan Mason in the 8th, where I was going to take him, maybe by the time it comes back to me, I further examine wide receiver, and instead of just going with Jacoby Myers that had been in my queue, maybe I scroll down a bit, hit that Jordan Addison, get him there. Or maybe let me see, that would be the 9th round. I think I also had Jake Ferguson and Dallas Goedert in the queue. Or maybe even instead of Jacoby Myers, getting a Dalton Kincaid to stack with Josh Allen. That was the pick. Instead of Jacoby Myers, I should have taken Dalton Kincaid, get that stack. But then I can't play around. Well, I guess Juwan Johnson could have been a receiver as well, or a running back or something. But that Fannin and Helm pick are kind of my gut shot dart throw, kind of really like it. Fannin's been going in the 15th in the drafts that I've seen. Let me just double check. Is that right? There's Fannin in this one. Come on. Should pop right out. It's purple. Oh, Fannin went in the 13th and won last week. And then 15th in the most recent one I was in. So me getting him in the 15th was appropriate. Did I go through? No, I didn't. So I skipped from Jordan Mason all the way down the board. So after my 9th round Jordan Mason, I got Dylan Sampson in the 10th. It appeared to be a reach, but quite honestly, I value Dylan Sampson higher than Gordon and Blue that went before him. And I guess Dylan Sampson, I would probably draft Dylan Sampson before Eckler and Scadaboo as well. If Jordan Mason hadn't fallen to me, Dylan Sampson would have been my pick of the 9th. I just think he's Cleveland's starting running back for at least the start of the season, if not the whole year. I think he might be able to hold off Quinshon Judkins, or at least hold the 50% role. Here's hoping. After my Dylan Sampson pick, I picked Caleb Williams to stack with DJ Moore. Then grabbed Tajee Spears, who I think has taken a precipitous fall since his ankle injury. Should come back second half of the season strong as ever. Ray Davis is some sort of minor correlation with Josh Allen, just so it's there. And then Cam Ward, I just saw as the last quarterback that will have consistent value with potential late season upside. Harold Fannin, I talked about in the 15th. Then I just grabbed Romeo Dobbs that I felt was a value. It was a tight pick between him and the next two picks on the board, Demario Douglas and Wan'Dale Robinson. We'll see what I just think Dobbs spike weeks matter more for best ball. Coming back in the 17th, I grabbed Alec Iomanner to stack with Cam Ward. Iomanner's been creeping up draft boards. Probably in the early drafts of these was going undrafted completely, but seems to have a pretty good connection with Ward, and I obviously have high hopes for them putting up some points this year. And then in the 18th, I grabbed Juwan Johnson. Just feel as though the Saints are going to have to pass, and they're going to probably keep it close to the line of scrimmage. So Juwan Johnson could help there and might be the only real end zone target they have. Not that they're going to score a lot. Then in the 19th, threw a dart at Trevor Etienne. I talked about him a little bit, and how Gretsch keeps on touting him. And then last round, Gunnar Helm, another stack with Ward, and think Gunnar is undervalued because he injured himself at the combine. As always, I still have a few underdog slow drafts to go, so let me check on them. I think there's only a few picks. I like to extend these past the full hour, so let's see. Let's share. Nope, I don't have any picks in here, but do I want to do a quick draft? Nah, it's a school night. I'm going to call it a day rather than take this over the 2-hour mark for no real reason. So all week I've kind of wanted to put out a stream or a recording about how I approach your home league drafts. I might get to that tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm actually going to be, I think I'm going to live stream an FFPC draft at 4:30, and then maybe I will record a home league draft and have that ready for you Saturday morning. Actually, I might just pump it out late Friday night just so it's easy to access. Should have done it earlier in the week. Wanted to. First week back at school. Teachers are exhausted. It's you really have to train your body to get back into the flow of talking a ton. Although I should be used to that through streaming, I just couldn't. Back to back, it takes a lot out of you. And then, just being on your feet all day, making quick decisions, answering question after question after question after question after question. And yes, I'm complaining about my job because teaching kind of sucks. You'll talk to teachers. Oh, I just love their job, and it may be because they've always wanted to do it and just haven't done other things, but you got to be young and have energy to do it. Like I'm fading, but it is what it is. Wine. So hopefully I'll come out. I'll definitely have a live draft tomorrow at 4:30. If it fills, maybe I should check on that first. And if it doesn't fill, I will record a how to approach your home league draft, how to use my rankings in that home league draft. And it doesn't look like the NFFC is even remotely close to filling tomorrow. So that's probably what I'll do instead. And actually, maybe I'll just I'm going to shift the NFFC draft to 8 p.m. tomorrow, because that will probably fill, and it allows me to do both. I might. Live stream actually, I'm going to record the redraft thing just so I can download and post it in other places. Anyway, just thinking through what I'm going to do, what to expect. Do this. If you're still listening, thank you. Appreciate it. I've been rambling for about 20 minutes now. But let's do this. Please please make sure you subscribe. Please comment, especially when the video's over. I really like comments in the stream. Doesn't seem like a lot of people are doing that. But if you're watching this later, leave a comment, even if it's "this sucks." I'm cool with it. Tell me what sucks. Yeah, I know I need to come with more stats and information, just overwhelmed, busy, and this is the season to fantasy analysts thrive without a social life. My social life has skyrocketed in the past month, so happy for me, but yeah, it's hurting the follow count, the like count, the subscribe count. But if you could, I plan on having during the season waiver wire show. I plan on doing Sunday mornings. The plan is 10 till game time, or Eastern time, 3 hours before game time. I might cut it down to 2, depending. And if I get nobody watching, then it might be even cut down further. I'll let you know where to send questions through socials. But follow me on Blue Sky. It's wheelrouteff.bluesky.social or @bluesky.social, however they do it. Go to the website, wheelrouteff.com. Leave a like and comments there as well. Check out the articles, rankings. Oh, I need to come out with rankings, season-long rankings that are for the Fantasy Pros rankings. The draft cheat sheet that's in there now is specifically for your drafts. I should update that tomorrow as well. Got a lot to do. Gonna be as active as I can be. You can also, jump in my Discord. I definitely will pay attention to that first, especially Sunday mornings when I'm answering questions. This is probably the last chance to get into that Discord for free. Maybe not the last chance. I don't know when I'm going to put it behind a paywall, but as soon as I get my stuff organized, which might be a while, it's going beyond a paywall. So, but if you get in there before the paywall goes up, you're grandfathered in as far as I'm concerned. All right, so tomorrow night I have an 8 p.m. draft. Hopefully we'll record a what to do in your home league episode and have that ready for you before I go into my live draft tomorrow at 8 p.m. Until then, like, subscribe, comment. Peace.